My name is Casey. I have a short, disorganized talk that I would like to give to you today. The title of the talk is Hell Money. This is, of course, the name of the podcast that I started about 2 years ago with Aaron. The name Hell Money is a very strange name. I do not think that most people know what it means. Hell money is actually a mistranslation of the phrase Ming Chao, which is a form of paper money. It looks like this.
Oh my god.
So you probably had the experience, I mean, if you're Chinese, you know this, but if you're not Chinese, but you live in a place with a Chinese population, you probably remember being a little kid, going to a Chinese restaurant for the first time, and seeing in a corner somewhere a little altar, usually like orange and red, at which there are offerings for one's ancestors. Maybe an orange and some incense, but another common form of offering to ancestors is called hell money. This is a mistranslation. It's very mysterious that it says hell for the underworld. So I remember seeing this for the first time when I was a kid, probably when I was in San Francisco, Chinatown. And it's such a mysterious station is that Bitcoin is hell money, which I like, the idea that there's a money which is so powerful that it is the currency of the living and the dead and the deities. And so I think this is the real, sort of meaning of hell money. And so why build on Bitcoin? It's really about resistance and the long game. When I got into Bitcoin in 2013, I expected that it would pretty much immediately be shut down. I thought that at any point the government would step in and try to destroy Bitcoin. And in fact, there are two examples of private monies that the government destroyed before Bitcoin that I was sort of basing my expectations on. One was Liberty Reserve, and the other one was e-gold. And these were both just privately issued electronic monies. And the government came down very, very, very hard on them and destroyed them. And in fact, they were very large. They did huge volumes of transactions. So in the last 11 years, since 2013, isn't just sort of mildly unpleasant to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Imagine a world where it actively tries to attack it. And this is the reason that I build on Bitcoin, because in that world where the government actively attacks Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, I think that Bitcoin is the only technology, the only platform that can credibly resist government attack. So yeah, the competition, there's a lot of other chains out there, there's a lot of other protocols, and they have a lot of money, but that is their only advantage, right? They are wealthy, but they are weak. In particular, they're just mountains and mountains of crazy, weird complexity, crazy, weird assumptions, incredible centralization, and in some future, a much more hostile future, they will not survive. They will be absolutely destroyed, or co-opted, which is even worse. They will become tools of the state to regulate and to censor. So I have some advice for anybody who wants to build on Bitcoin, or in fact, who wants to build anything. I think it is the absolute most important advice that there is, which is keep it simple. I was talking to a friend of mine a little while ago. We've known each other for maybe 20 years at this point, and we were talking about what the best developers that we knew had in common. And the common thread was always that they were very simple and they were very practical. Complexity absolutely kills, and Ordinals, inscriptions, and runes are very simple, but even places where there's complexity there, we try to keep it simple, but things always wind up biting in the ass, and complexity is something that will always bite you in the ass. So make sure that you keep things as simple as you possibly can. Let's see, so if you want to build on Bitcoin, one problem that makes building on Bitcoin hard is that when you build for other chains, you have a high-level idea of what you want to do, And usually you can just sort of make that idea work as you envision it on that chain. You have the idea, you implement it, and then you ship it. And the chain just sort of executes whatever logic, whatever idea that you have. Bitcoin is a little bit different. When you build for Bitcoin, you have to adapt your idea to Bitcoin. So instead of having a very specific like design in mind, it's better to have a high level goal and then think about how you can create a design and adapt it to Bitcoin instead of the other way around. So you have to adapt yourself to Bitcoin. Bitcoin will not adapt to you. So yeah, ordinals and inscriptions and runes, why are they successful? As far as I can tell, I think the real answer is that they're the simplest possible idea that could work, right? When I launched inscriptions, before I launched inscriptions, there were other projects that had a huge head start. The two that come to mind are Taproot Assets and the RGB protocol. And these are both projects that I have a lot of respect for. They're very smart, but they don't have this relentless commitment to simplicity. So they were launched, or announced at least, and working on it for a long time. And I came up with inscriptions and I thought, well, they're probably gonna beat me to it, They're gonna come out, they're gonna get super popular, I'm gonna announce whatever, and nobody's gonna wanna use it. But because they kept, everything that they did was incredibly complicated, they still haven't gotten a huge amount of adoption, and then in case of RGB, it still hasn't launched. And in fact, before I even came up with runes, Taproot Assets Lightning Labs had announced that they were gonna do Taproot Assets, and then, not a lot of progress, and then months later came up with runes, the absolute dumbest thing that could possibly work, launched it, and now it has, early on, lots and lots of adoption, lots and lots of enthusiasm. So just my big encouragement is keep things as simple as possible. Simple things work, complicated things don't. And yeah, the other thing that I would encourage you is that don't think about ordinals, inscriptions, and runes ecosystem as being a technology ecosystem. I think it's very tempting to think about it as like some kind of future of finance, gonna change, it's gonna give people in Africa bank accounts or whatever, it's gonna revolutionize capital markets. If those things happen, to be clear, I would be very, very happy. But I think the reality is what the technology is good for is a kind of social gambling and entertainment industry. And I think that if you think about it that way, you'll be able to be more honest with yourself, more honest with the people you work with, and you won't have to compromise your ideals and your principles to be successful. You just say, yeah, this is a gambling and entertainment industry. What's more centralized than Las Vegas, right? It'd be great if there was a decentralized alternative to Las Vegas that was transparent and all the degens could be happy and the house edge could be as low as possible. I think that would be great. I don't know what it would be, but I think the real gambling capital of the world is Macau. So I think that there should be some kind of like runes, ordinals, inscriptions thing happening in Macau. I don't know what it is, right? So anyways, yeah, I just wanted to say that this is a very an option for you, which is very honest and very realistic, and you don't need to hide what you're doing. Just remember, you're building a social gambling and entertainment product and trying to bring your users the best possible, fairest, most fun social gambling and entertainment products. So yeah, I think of it as kind of like an intergalactic casino. Something from like sci-fi, you go through the portal into the future and go on some sort of like fucking space station or something, except instead of the very dry, very boring, futuristic space station with people with like white, whatever, walking around and like everybody's all very serious or whatever, it's this absolutely bonkers, absolutely insane intergalactic casino, right? And a sort of decentralized intergalactic casino that exists everywhere and nowhere, but always within our hearts, Yeah, and so the final thing that I have to say, I just want to keep it very simple, is that really now it's all in your hands. So me as the protocol developer, all I can really do is put out ideas as a foundation for other people to build on. As far as future, upgrades to runes and inscriptions and ordinals, they're, small things that we have ideas about. And in fact, you can see all of the ideas that we have and that we talk about on GitHub. We work in the open. When I have an idea, I write it up in a GitHub issue, so it's all in the open. You can see everything. All the alpha is on GitHub, so it's all there. But ultimately, I think the big, development that's going to happen is not going to come from me. It's going to come from people in this room who are builders, who build things on top of ordinals, inscriptions, and runes. And, I guess I'll add to this, ordinals, inscriptions, and runes, that's the intergalactic casino. And the money, what better money for an intergalactic casino than Bitcoin? And so for me, developing all this stuff, obviously I want to support and create the intergalactic casino, but it's all there to kind of bring people to Bitcoin, right? To get people using Bitcoin, thinking about Bitcoin, and that they come for the intergalactic casino and they stay for the ultra hard money that can actively resist the state. So yeah, I think that's all that I have to say to everybody here, and I look forward to seeing what you guys build. Thank you very much.